Hey guys, what's up? I'm Zulu. Today we're doing cinnamon rolls. Not just any cinnamon roll, brioche cinnamon rolls that are so soft, buttery, and absolutely delicious. And now I'm going to show you how to make them. Alright guys, so today I'm going to show you how to make the most incredible cinnamon rolls. The secret, in my opinion, to a beautiful cinnamon roll comes from the dough. So we're doing overnight style brioche cinnamon roll, which will give your cinnamon rolls a soft, buttery, fluffy texture. It's amazing. So when you get your cinnamon roll, you'll be able to tear it with your hands and it should fall away with ease. So with all that being said, let's make this, shall we? Alright then, let's start. Here I've got 100 milliliters of whole milk heated to 35 degrees Celsius. It's alright if it's 34 or 36, it won't make that much difference. Then sprinkle in 6 grams of fast active yeast, give it a mix. Then I'm going to sprinkle in about a teaspoon, equaling to around 5 grams of sugar. Adding the sugar to the yeast isn't necessary by any means, it just helps speed up the whole activation process. And you're just going to set it to one side to allow it to activate. It'll take about 5 to 10 minutes. Now when you boil your stand mixer, combine together 450 grams of all-purpose flour, the rest of your sugar, which will be about 35 grams, and finally 6 grams of salt. Give it a whisk together to make sure all the ingredients are evenly distributed. Now attach your dough attachment to your stand mixer. And now in the jug with the yeast and milk mixture, crack in 4 whole eggs. Then start slowly pouring it into your stand mixer down the side of the bowl, mixing over low speed until it comes together and forms a rough dough. You may have to stop the machine, give it a mix every so often to make sure it all incorporates nice and evenly. Now you're going to start slowly incorporating a teaspoon at a time 75 grams of softened room temperature unsalted butter. And once again, make sure you stop it every so often, scraping the bottom and sides of the bowl to make sure the butter incorporates evenly. Once all the butter is incorporated, turn the speed up to medium high, kneading it until nice and smooth and elastic, and it comes away from the edges nicely. And it should end up something like this, really stretchy. The glue is activated, that's exactly what you're looking for, and it shouldn't be too sticky to handle. And then we're going to try and form into a ball by folding the dough inwards to form a nice smooth exterior, and place it into your bowl and cover with some cling film and let it prove at room temperature for about 2 hours until doubled in size. Now we're going to knock the dough back by placing the dough back into your bench, reshape it into a nice ball shape, plot it back into your bowl, cover with some cling film, and then don't forget to give the dough some love by giving a nice smiley face. And then put the dough in the fridge overnight to gently relax and prove away nice and slowly, and forget about it. Now for the cinnamon sugar filling, whatever you want to call it, combine together 100 grams of soft brown sugar, 10 grams of ground cinnamon, i.e. powdered cinnamon. Give it some whiskey business to combine it all together. Then once it's all combined, that's it. If you want, you can even double or even triple this recipe of cinnamon sugar because it can go with so many other things. Because it lasts for ages, it's sugar at the end of the day. Anyways, here I'm greasing an 8x8 square cake tin with some unsalted butter, and I'm also going to line it with some non-stick parchment paper because my tin is a loose bottom and I don't want any leakage. If your tin does not have a loose bottom, the parchment paper is not a necessity. Just makes it a bit easier to unmold it at the end if you decide to do so. But I'll leave that one up to you. Now the time has come to roll out your dough. Remove the dough from your fridge, tip it out onto a lightly floured work surface. Then flour the top of the dough as well as flouring the rolling pin to make sure the rolling pin doesn't stick to your dough, because that would be a right pain. And then start rolling your dough out until I realised my board actually wasn't big enough, so I had to transfer the dough to the bench. Continue to roll the dough out until I got a nice large rectangle, 60 centimeters by 40 centimeters. I like my cinnamon rolls to have thin layers. If you prefer cinnamon rolls with thicker layers, feel free to roll it out a bit less. So now once you've done that, you're going to evenly spread across the whole dough 75 grams of really soft unsalted butter. Make sure the butter is nice and soft. If your butter is not soft enough, it will tear the dough once you come to spreading it, just to let you know. Then you're going to evenly sprinkle over all of your cinnamon sugar. Yeah, that's right guys, use it all up and spread it across the whole dough nice and evenly. Then I just like to compact the sugar down into the dough a bit using my hands. Now carefully start rolling the dough, making sure you tuck it in nice and tightly, because if you don't roll it up tight enough, it will unravel. Then start portioning your cinnamon rolls. Then get yourself a serrated blade and carefully cut off the edges if you wish, doing a sawing action. Don't be too aggressive because that will destroy all of the layers that will work so hard to get. I like to cut mine about 2.5 inches wide because I like mine thick with 4 C's. If you don't like your cinnamon rolls too thick, cut them thinner. If you want them even thicker than mine, cut them a bit thicker. It's your preference. It's not rocket science. This recipe makes about 9 to 12 cinnamon rolls. For best results, if you're using the size tin I'm using, I'll fit about 9 in a tin. You may need another tin. Just saying. It all comes down to how thick or thin you cut your cinnamon rolls in the first place. Lightly cover with cling film and proof for about 2 hours until puffed up and they're touching each other. And bake at 170 degrees Celsius for 20 to 25 minutes until puffed up and golden brown and cooked throughout. And that is what you call a cinnamon roll. Delicious. But we're not finished just yet. We're gonna make the cream cheese icing right now. Very straightforward, really easy to do. In a large bowl, combine together 85 grams of cream cheese, whisk it together to loosen it a little bit, then sift in 150 grams of icing sugar. Be careful because it has a tendency to go everywhere, icing sugar. Then whisk it until smooth, starting off slow, working your way up the gears, you could say. Because you don't want to start fast, because then the icing sugar will literally go everywhere. Then pour in about 1.5 to 2 teaspoons of whole milk, just enough to loosen up the icing to make it more drizzleable consistency. You may not need it all, just keep it to the side just to make sure. Then add in a teaspoon of vanilla bean paste or vanilla extract, whisk until smooth, and that is your cream cheese icing done. Then immediately drizzle over all your icing on top of your cinnamon rolls, making sure you don't leave a spot because you don't want to waste this icing. It's too good to waste. And simply just dig in, go mad. One important note, make sure your cinnamon rolls are warm whilst you're doing this so that the icing actually sticks and starts to melt in the cinnamon roll. And another note, these cinnamon rolls are much better served warm, just saying. Alright guys, that's it. There's my homemade brioche cinnamon roll recipe. These cinnamon rolls are delicious. If you like cinnamon rolls, you will love these ones, I guarantee it. So if you enjoyed this video or you learned something, please like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.